Hello and welcome. This is Tamara Griffin from the Knitting Lab, and right now I'm here to demonstrate how to divide stitches onto double point needles and to join those stitches into a round to be able to work in the round. What I have here is one double point with 39 stitches on it, and the first thing I'm going to do is slip some stitches from this needle onto the other needle. And I've just cast on those stitches, so you'll see one end has both my tail and my working end, and the other end doesn't have any loose yarns hanging down. I'm going to reach over here. Now I am going to move from left to right because that's how I'm comfortable, but you can feel free to do it the other way. But what I'd like to suggest is when you start sliding stitches, you slide from the end without the yarn hanging down. You'll find it's easier to work without loosening the last stitch cast on if you work this way. So what you'll see is I like to take my needle and go in from the bottom and scoop it. I'm kind of doing almost like a revolving motion. I come from the back, reach, and slide it off. These guys are a little bit snug. Slide. And as I work, I gently bring those down. Okay, now I want to have 15 stitches on this needle, so I'm going to do a check in a moment. Let's take a look. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, 14. All right, I have 15 stitches. Now that I've put 15 stitches on this needle, I'm going to slide them to the center of the needle, and then I'm going to let that needle hang out down there. I'm going to reach over, grab another empty needle, and I'm going to put 12 on this needle. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 6, oops. All right, I'm going to double check my count. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. I have 12 here. Again, I'm going to move those to the center of the needle. And the last 12 here, if my count's correct, I'll have 12. Let's check. 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12. I have 12 here. Those also go to the center, because what I want is to get them centered so that they don't slide off any of the ends. I've gone ahead and separated my stitches. And now you can see I have this kind of half upside down letter U, we can say. I have on one end, there's no hanging threads, yarn ends, and then on this end, I have 2. So I am going to now flip this over like this. Okay, all I did was take it and flip it over. I did this because I want to have my working yarn and my tail on the right hand side of my work right now, and I've done that. I'm going to take yet another needle, and I'm going to now join these into a round. And the way I do this is, first I want you to know that the first stitch I'm knitting into is this stitch right here, and I'm knitting up this needle. So I'm going to slide these stitches to the end so that they're in position for knitting. Now, admittedly, it's tricky when you're just starting this, but after you do it a few times, it will get much easier, much smoother practice. So this is the stitch I'm going to work into. This is the needle I'm going to put the stitch on, and this is where the end, where the yarn is. Because I'm going to start by knitting, and for this video, I'm just going to knit a few stitches. I'm going to take this yarn and put it behind, because when we knit, the working end of the yarn should be behind our needle. So here's my needle. I'm going in from left to right into my first stitch. Here, try not to block the view. Here is the yarn, it's down there. I take both ends because I prefer to use both ends in the beginning. wrapping it around the needle, and now this will come through to the front. There. I know this guy's in the way, but after a few minutes he won't be. I've just knit this first stitch. The old stitch goes off the needle. And I said I was going to knit a few, but because we typically do ribbing here, I'm actually going to knit one more stitch and then I will purl. In the back, I'm still using both ends. And then I bring it through. And now what I want to do is snug up. I've knit two. I'm gently going to pull. I want to eliminate any gap between the needle that the yarn came from and the new stitches. I've done so. Having knit two, I'm going to drop the tail. Okay, right now I'm pulling it through the center. This way it will pretty much be out of my way. Alrighty, here's my working yarn. Okay, folks, now I'm going to purl. So that yarn comes forward, whoops, forward between the two stitches. I don't want to work at the just the very, very tip. I'm going to go ahead and move some of these stitches down so they don't fly off. All right, I'm going to purl. Let's see if we can get things to focus. I'm waiting for the camera to get us into view a little bit. Alrighty. Wrap and taking the needle back. Now, if you don't use your left hand like I'm doing right now, it might look a little odd to you, but everything is the same standard way that we form our knits and purls. I'm going to bring the yarn to the back. I'm going to go ahead and knit two stitches again. Knit, knit, yarn forward, and purling, off, yarn to the back, knit, knit, yarn to the front, purl, and off. And as I take it off, because I know I'm knitting, I kind of in one motion take the stitch off and the yarn comes behind. It's kind of a fluid thing. Now that I've done that, I want you to see some of these little details that help make a difference. I have all my stitches I've just worked. I'm going to go ahead and gently pull them a little bit. I'm not moving this stitch far away from the point, but I am smoothing these out so they're not all smushed together. If I leave everything like this, that energy in these stitches, that tension, wants to spring this way and push everything off the needle. I don't want that to happen. I'm gently taking some of that tension and that energy from the stitches, bringing that down like so. Okay? Now, the next thing I want you to see is I am now working with two needles, a left needle and a right needle. These guys are hanging out in the back. These two are not being used. I'm just ignoring them and they're in the back. Okay? If the point gets in my way, I will go ahead and move it. For now, I'm just letting my thumb hold that down. And this is where I'm working. I'm going to go ahead and finish the end of the round so you can get a better look at how I do that. Waiting for things to get in focus again. Here we go. Knit, knit, back to the front, purl, and back. Last three stitches here. I'm going to see if I can help the focus better. Knit. Nope, doesn't look it. Knit, purl. I sure hope some of this has been in focus for you all. There we go. So it's been almost 10 minutes. I'll end the video for now, but I want you to see that I've just gone ahead and worked this whole needle And what happens after this? This rotates. Here's my next work. And how do I know that? Well, here's my working end of the yarn. Look, there's the working end. I finished this, and this is the next needle. I'm rotating it to the right, just clockwise. And here's the next one. I'm not working this way. Here's how I want the needle presented. I'm going into this needle. This is the first stitch I'm going into. I'm going to take these stitches and prepare them by sliding down towards the end. And now I'll begin again. Okay? I will come back with another video showing how to do the knit through the back loop purl next. Take care.